As the rest of the Gulf state countries, we suffered from the difficulty and the lack of natural resources until the oil was discovered, and then the big changes began to take place on the economic scale, which contributed to the development and prosperity of the country. In this essay, we will talk about agricultural changes, the developments of agriculture sector, and the food diversity. After watching a movie at a Friday night and having a dinner, I interviewed my dad at 10 p.m. in his room, and I chose his room because it was really quiet and that will help him to remember what he'd been through. My dad from the 16th generation and he is 53 years old. He grew up in the rural area, specifically in the coastal zone. He described himself as a middle generation who had the difficulty of life and the beginning of development. In that time there is no many food choices. It's one or two kinds of food available, and you have to eat the same dish every day, unless if you were invited in wedding, probably you will eat something different, or in the associations like Eid. For a breakfast, they eat some of the local bread, such as rigaka bread, yeast bread, and el chibaba bread. These kinds of bread it's very common, and we still eat it. They eat it with honey, cheese, or dip it into the tea. The lunch is also not varied, the same dish every day. It's white rice and grilled fish. As I said before, my father lived in coastal area, so they were dependent on seafood and did not eat meat except on associations. Dinner is not important for them, either to eat the rest of the lunch or just be satisfied with dates and water. With the country's development, many things have been changed and are categorized by food diversity. This has have a positive and negative impact. The positive impact that the people have many options for eating, different kinds of fruit, vegetables, and sweets, and the list will go on. The negative impact that the overconsumption of food. Most of the people eat too much, and that's caused a lot of diseases. One of them is obesity. We don't have this diversity of food, but we were healthy and energized. Most fruits and vegetables were seasonal. For example, most of the fruits bear fruit in the summer, like dates, apple, orange, watermelon, melon, mango, and most vegetables bear fruit in winter. We have broccoli, onion, and tomatoes. The main dishes also has no variety, the same dishes every day as I explained before. Our traditional food is the same as our food today, but they added some spices, flavors, and nuts to it, and it looks like Indian food more than local. Getting food was a difficult thing because it exists in a few limited quantities. We were going to buy food from the traditional markets where rice, flour, and fruits are located in a few quantities. And some of the spices and tea, they were coming from India, and some canned food like watermelon, jam, and pineapple from China, coffee from Yemen, and some herbs. The dairy food like milk, yogurt, and cheese, we made them at home, or some families they sell milk at a cheaper price. The people who lived in mountains were planting wheat and making flour but in a few quantities because it's hot most of the year. I don't prefer eating the new food. I love the traditional food and I cannot replace it with any other type. The traditional food contains less calories, zero saturated fat, more fibers, which make you feel fullness and give you energy. The new food, such as fast food, contains a lot of calories and fats, and there is no doubt that eating too much fast food can cause diseases. Now, I like eating vegetables because in the past we don't have this variety of them. Also legumes, we don't have them. So now, I eat both of them to make up myself with the vitamins and fibers that are useful to my body. The country is beginning to care more about agriculture and is aware of the importance of agriculture. They encourage local production of vegetables and fruits, support them physically, and give them some agricultural land to encourage them to cultivate and provide them with the latest equipment and organic fertilizers. But the only thing is the lack of the interest of the citizens in agriculture and their interest in a quick profit. So some of them have used some chemical fertilizers to speed up the production process, and this is dangerous and causes consumer diseases. On the other hand, the country has been interested in the production of dates, especially Abu Dhabi and the Liwa region, where they make sugar from dates and desserts as well, and export it to the other countries. Furthermore, they take care of the production of camel milk, with multiple flavors, such as what is produced by Lane Company and used for the chocolate industry as well. I really enjoyed doing this interview because it provided me with valuable information, and it affected my feelings when my dad mentioned my ancestors suffered from poverty to the extent that they didn't have even clothes. They wear a floor cloth, sack, and they eat the sea foam from hunger. This has made me appreciate the blessings that have been bestowed today by food, drink, housing, and clothing, as well as the blessing of security and safety. In conclusion, our ancestors suffered so much to enjoy this luxury life. While we were traveling with the planes, they were using camels or horses, or even walk away leaving their parents and wives and children for at least 2 years in order to get the money. We must appreciate the blessings we have today and don't waste water and food to save them for the future generations.